r/ask Reddit. What will you never stop complaining about? People that take one step though a door then immediately stop moving. Or step off the end of an escalator and stop moving. It's everyone's duty to shove those people as hard as possible. Blockages on escalators can really hurt a lot of people. People play I Will Always Love You as their first dance song at their weddings, but it's a ducking breakup song. And every radio station blasts Born in the USA on the 4th. No one heard anything outside the chorus. TBF. America has a pretty long history of taking music that is demeaning or critical of itself and playing them in very light-hearted and superficial ways. All the way from Yankee Doodle Dandy through American Woman and Fortunate Sons to more recently, This Is America. The context does not usually matter. This song is about America. America is awesome. Ergo this song is about awesome America. So naturally, it must be played as a stadium anthem. People that throw garbage out of their car window or litter anywhere in general. Duck those people. I get so angry. I don't understand how smokers think it's okay to throw cigarette butts out the window. Like, WTF. Edit. Gold. Thank you. Stoked that my complaining finally got me somewhere. I keep one of those smokeless cup holder ashtrays in my car precisely so I have somewhere to put my butts while I drive. Just because I have an addiction that's slowly killing me doesn't mean I have to subject the rest of the world to it. To all the other smokers out there, throw your butts out responsibly. If nothing else, it's just plain common courtesy. Getting out of bed for work. Edit. Holy shit, this comment blew up. Getting out of bed. Getting out. People who relocate things that were perfectly placed. It took me years to make my mom stop coming into my room just to replace things and such. Now she says like, this is your room and you will take care of it. I'm not touching anything there and apparently thinks this is kind of punishment. She is a pedant who can't really put herself into someone's shoes. This makes her think that if I have a mess in my room it hurts my eyes just as much as it hurts hers, but I'm too lazy to clean up. Wrong. My room is very far from being messy and I like it as it is right now. Post a pic of your not messy room and let the masses decide. I started r/is my room a mess. Post there. People with a complete lack of self-awareness over how to walk. And people with no social or spatial awareness that stand right behind you in line. I agree. How are some people so unaware of the space they are in? Some people will just bounce off of you while walking by, or the people who rub on you. This grinds my gears. I've never had this issue. Just yesterday I had someone reach their hand past me and almost knock my coffee over and rubbed my arm. Like, are you just punching through things in the way? Or do you really not know the space that your hand and arm take up? People who stand right on top of the baggage carousel at the airport so no one behind them can see or get their bags. If you'd all step back, we'd all be able to see and grab our bags in an orderly fashion. Idiots. When you see yours, simply dart through the crowd, grab it, and do your best to whack each and every person nearby with it as you pull it from the belt. It's satisfying. Always add a passive-aggressive excuse me so it drives home that this wouldn't be an issue if they weren't trying to slow dance with a carousel. Lack of turn signal use. Edit. Thanks for the gold. People who repeatedly and seemingly actively refuse to use their turn signal should have their licenses taken away for life. Mosquitoes. Gosh, I hate those little duckers. Those duckers and ticks too. Why haven't I started sooner? When will I learn? Next time I'll do everything in time, with plenty of time left. Narrator. And then he didn't. Edit. Thanks for all your advices, and apparently, installing Reddit wasn't the right step towards a solution. I've realized that as I keep getting older, I use the phrase "you ducking idiot" for myself much more often than I use it for others. And I use it a lot for others. I'm almost 40 dude, and I still cram everything at the last possible second. I have to submit a major piece of work to my boss tomorrow that should have been keeping me busy over the summer months. And yet here I am on Reddit having not even so much as glanced at it yet. I hate being like this but can't seem to ever make that change. How tired I am. I only seem to be getting worse as I get older. Edit. I seem to be getting an awful lot of replies giving helpful medical advice. I've realized my comment might be a bit confusing. When I say I'm only getting worse, what I mean is I'm whinging about it more rather than getting tireder and tireder. That said, I would say I'm always tired, but not to the extent of something like chronic fatigue or anything like that. I'm a waiter by trade, so tiredness due to being on my feet all day and inconsistent sleep patterns should be expected to an extent. The vitamin D suggestion a few of you have said does seem to be quite likely though. I don't like the sun as I burn easily, and when outside I do try for the shade. One thing it did make me think about was when my car broke down for a few months and I was walking to work. I did feel more energetic. Perhaps it was the extra sunlight I was exposed to. I'm definitely gonna get some multivitamins and see if that helps. Thanks for all your suggestions guys. TC. Bad drivers. Everyone driving slower than me is an idiot who can't drive. Everyone driving faster than me is a maniac who shouldn't be allowed to drive. I don't mind people driving a bit slower than I do normally, so long as they can keep at the same speed. There are few things that infuriate me as much as a person who keeps slowing down and accelerating randomly. That dental insurance is treated as a separate entity from medical insurance. Seriously, and if you have a TMJ issue, it's like the insurers fight over who'll pay a claim because it's part skull, part mandible. What to do? Geese, ducking cobra chickens think they own the planet. If you've got a problem with Canada gooses, then you've got a problem with me, and I suggest you let that marinate. Give your balls a tug. The heat. I love when people say in response, you know it's not the heat, it's the humidity that gets you. Thanks guy. I instantly feel cooler now that I am armed with that knowledge. I hate that response. I have been to Arizona in the summer. It isn't humid, but miserable still doesn't begin to describe how I feel about it. Microtransactions in full-priced games. EA. It's not in the game. Unless you pay. Our flippin' doctor's office. There are like 7 ladies that work at the front desk and not one can show me how to use the GD kiosk. They just wave their finger over the desk and yell, use the kiosk. Use the kiosk to sign in. What, you have a question? Type it into the kiosk. Also, for 2 weeks I have been trying to make an appointment, and for 2 weeks I am constantly put on hold or hung up on. Finally I call another part of the office and they say that the number I have been using is deactivated. Then remove the option on the voicemail. Every time with this place. You have the worst doctor's office, dang. It's horrible. My dad went to the doctor's office because he had issues breathing. The front desk refused to make an appointment for him. They told him if it was an emergency to drive down to the next hospital, which is about an hour away. My wife not flushing after going to the toilet. Delete her. Delete me too. Women's clothes not having pockets or a sufficient number of belt loops. Witness my rage. Women's shirts being see-through so you have to wear a cami tank top underneath. Women's clothes that assume all women's chests are one size so it can be too tight. I hate the fact that I have a normal sized phone and it still barely fits in the pocket of most of my pants. It won't fit in the pocket of some of my pants at all. The shit the rich and powerful get away with on a consistent basis. This and that, child slavery, child abuse still exists. That's part of what I was getting at, in light of the whole Epstein thing that's been going on. I mean, clearly he didn't get away with it at the end of the day, but how many of them do? It's sickening. Season 8 of GOT. Season 8 was so bad and the finale so execrable that I've lost interest in the spin-offs. Who cares about White Walker backstory when Arya, my plot armor, will always protect me? Stark will take out the most terrifying and dangerous being in the known world with one physics-defying leap and a glorified kitchen knife. Not to mention the way Dany managed to go completely batshit and turn into a megalomaniac in one episode, undermining 7 previous seasons of character building. Duck D&D. Edit. Lots of responses and I apologize for not responding to each. I work nights and had to crash. Just wanted to add this addendum. My problem isn't with the ultimate character choices, but the lack of time and context. 8 seasons, and a final 6 episode season, were inadequate to properly end such a complex show. GRRM may well finish up the books in the same way, but we'll have P.O.V. chapters and loads of detail that make those choices logical. D&D rushed the ending. They made a deliberate decision to end the show on their timeline in order to undertake different projects, most notably Star Wars. HBO wanted additional seasons. GRRM himself suggested in the early days of the show that 10 or 11 seasons would be a good ballpark figure. D&D are solely responsible for the choice to end the show in 8 seasons and make an abbreviated 6th season. After an 18-month wait between 7 and 8, the actors, the crew, special effects, music, and sets were always stellar, but the storytelling suffered in the end. Also, yes, I am a proud member of the r/free folk, and we do not kneel. It's hard to believe it even happened. I feel like it couldn't have ended in a worse way. Every episode, after Ep 3, just got more and more convoluted. I still love the joke. John went north, the dragon went east, Arya went west, and the show went south. School's giving homework on the first day. Edit. I still do it, and it is easy. I just know I am not a huge fan. My master's program has work due the first day. Drop out before the first day. My stomach problems. I've had stomach problems for more than half of my life, and I am only 21. Some months I only rarely feel sick, but then there's some months where I am in agony every single day. People around me seem to get annoyed when I talk about it, which I understand because I do complain a lot. But if you feel shit every day for months on end without having a solution to your problem, you get really emotionally and physically drained. Edit. I'm very surprised how many of us are out there. Now I feel a bit less lonely. Here's to a healthy gastronomic future for everyone. My brother's girlfriend that clogs the toilet every time she uses it. How? Does she take massive shits cause then there is nothing she can do about it? Or is she putting in too much toilet paper? If she is putting in too much toilet paper then she is a ducking idiot cause it takes a lot of toilet paper to clog a toilet. Like basically, we have this environmentally friendly toilet that has a flush that is not as strong as most. So sometimes you need to give it a few minutes and flush it again when it doesn't take everything. She never does. She will just close the lid and leave her shit covered TP in the toilet piled high despite already being flushed a little. Anytime me or my ma'am go in after it would need to be unclogged and she never does anything about it. We'll always wait for someone else to sort it out. So whether or not it's massive shits it's still a humongous amount of TP. She does a lot of other nasty shit too, so basically I will never stop complaining about her in general. She basically lives with us. When it's winter complaining about the cold, wishing it was summer, and when it's summer complaining about the heat, wishing it was winter. Edit. From Chicago guys. Australia called. Heard you were talking shit. Lazy, neglectful, inconsiderate pet owners with chronically barking dogs they leave outside to rot. Duck all of you. Leg day. Complaining about it for the next week is probably the only reason I do it. If you add more leg days to your routine, it will help massively. Try it out. Make sure it's a compound exercise like squats. Keep accessory exercises to a minimum. I've said it before and I'll say it again. People who don't wait until others are leaving the tram bus train before they try and force their way on. People on the tram bus train who won't give up a seat for someone who actually needs it, especially the specifically marked priority seats. People who smoke within 2 feet of the stop, particularly those with electronic cigarettes that means they bellow huge clouds of smoke. People on public transport who listen to music using their shitty speakers or have conversations where they hold their phone like a walkie-talkie and then shout the whole discussion. And a recent non-public transport one. People who want to be at the front of a concert and won't put the effort in to arrive early so just force their way through a crowd with 25 of their friends. In short, people basically. Aimbats in online first-person shooters. They are getting so sophisticated that they are basically indistinguishable from natural human movement. Imagine how bad they are going to be in the near future when they are literally assisted by AI. Swap to Rocket League to get your competitive fix and never look back. Aimbats have ruined ranked modes and shooters. Microtransactions in games. Also, single-player games that require internet connection. It doesn't make any sense. Stores that refuse to take your money unless you give them your email address, phone number, and other such personal information. I've even taken to just leaving the merchandise on the counter and never coming back. I mean, I'll warn them. I'll say, I'm not going to give you any personal information. I can pay you right now with real money, but if somehow you genuinely cannot allow this transaction with only currency, then I'm going to leave and never return. Last place I did this at was a Guitar City. Dude gambled and lost on a 4-digit purchase. I just say no thanks when they ask for email, phone number / etc. And workers are always perturbed. I'm not trying to make their job harder, but how can they be surprised that I don't want to hand out my personal information? The bastards have my debit card information from my purchase. Is that not enough information? When a television show starts to add love triangles or relationship drama to their show because they ran out of ideas, it's when I know to stop watching a show or when it's starting to go downhill. Humans. Getting old. DC Universe movies. I've been a DC fan since a kid, always preferring Batman and the Justice League to the Fantastic Four and X-Men. Open bracket. I read both. Just prefer DC. Marvel has done a great job creating a series of movies that almost always work and appeal to a wide audience. Starting with Man of Steel. DC undertook a personal mission to make the lousiest, underwhelming, room temperature piss movies they can. They're not exciting, they're not entertaining, and they always inevitably leave me wondering how the hundreds of people who had a part in making each movie didn't bail on that shit when they realized how uninspired that shit was. I have much more to say about this. People who don't know how to use the fast passing left hand lane edit. I'm glad my daily dose of road rage earned me my first silver. Audio levels for movies and TV shows at home. I was watching Seinfeld on Hulu last night. TV volume at 12. Conversation was audible. Intro and outro music. Deafening. Switched to Homeland. TV volume on 75. Still had to put captions on to understand the dialogue. Game developers making multiplayer games. I don't have friends, you rabbit rectums. The plot of the movie Grease. Danny was an a-hole who was ashamed to be with Sandy. She didn't need or want him to change into a preppy jock. She just wanted to be treated with respect. She should have just thrown out the whole man. Needing 5-10 years of experience for an entry-level job. America's broken healthcare system. The headphone jack not being included in new cell phones. Goddamn yogurt. There's too much of it. Do we really need like 7 different kinds of blueberry? Do we really need regular yogurt, Greek yogurt, French yogurt, Australian yogurt, German yogurt, which isn't even friggin' yogurt? It's a kind of cheese FFS, Icelandic yogurt, and a bunch of other countries' regions? Do we really need regular yogurt, whipped yogurt, drinkable yogurt, and squeezed tube yogurt? How about cow milk, sheep milk, goat milk, soy milk, coconut milk, almond milk and rice milk? And don't even get me started on goddamn fruit on the bottom friggin' yogurt. I did not just pay $3.50 so that I have to do half the work. I work on a kitchen line as a line cook. For duck's sake, people stop coming in 15 minutes before we close, we have lives. Anti-vaxxers. They are dangerous, delusional people who must be stopped. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.